Hey, everybody. Let's make sure I can see y'all here. Let's say good morning, good evening, good afternoon. How are you doing, everybody? Welcome to my live stream. Let's see. Are you guys in there? All of a sudden, I don't have people saying, I don't have any more comments. I'm just checking here. Do I have to refresh? Guys all still in there? Can you give me a thumbs up or a number one? If we're all in there. It says excellent connection. Chat rate. Okay. Okay, yeah, I got y'all. I got y'all in there. All right. Dr. Docs, what's up? Jeremy Walker, Miriam, Robbie Martin, Paul Simons, Wim Martins. Okay, hey, Wim and Miriam, two of my Patreons. I'm going to start with a couple of your questions. Alex Campbell is a new Patreon of mine. What's up, dude? Your question, one of your questions, is going to be the topic of my live stream tonight, Alex. This is what I love about the Patreons is we connect together. I get to hear your feedback. I get to hear questions you guys are into, things you're wanting me to go over. So just a little quick update. So I'm getting my chat going. Quick update. I'm trying to get more topic oriented on these live streams. So as you could tell, this is like my 6th or 7th live stream. I don't even know yet what number this is, but I did this to start by connecting to the fans and to have something to do, to connect with fans and to challenge myself personally. So sort of using you guys to, in a good way, because we're all like getting to connect and have fun and it's something to do during this quarantine, this lockdown. I tried to make this quarantine time, challenging for myself to increase my talent stack, if you will. And what I'm finding is by doing these live streams, I'm kind of distilling something that is still not quite certain where I'm seeing it going, but I do know that I want to get more topic oriented. And I know that there's some of you out there who aren't drummers, who don't want to see a bunch of drum licks for 90 minutes. And some of you are drummers and like that. I want to give a little bit of everything. So I'm going to answer 3 questions tonight from my Patreons, and then I'm going to go into a topic on the music industry, breaking into the music industry. As a musician, as a singer-songwriter, as a whatever. So I'm hoping that this can be sort of a learning experience for everybody. So including myself. So I don't know how to play Crossroads by Rush. I'm not even sure what song that is. I'm a Rush fan, but Kelby Groves from the UK. What's up, dude? I don't know how to play Crossroads by Rush. Vasily. Oh, dude. Vasily, hold on. Vasily the artist. VA the artist. Hold on. I'm going to see if my headphones can stretch. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I did some Vasily. Let's see, where is it? I did some spring cleaning in here, and Vasily's an artist. He's in the comments. He painted a picture of me and John Bonham, and it's a really funny picture. And I think, oh gosh, I gotta find it. But he painted it for me, and it's in my drum lair here. So, really cool picture. I wish I knew. My kids came in here and destroyed my studio. So yeah. Okay. So I want to get topic oriented. I'm going to ask three questions. They're drummer related. So if you're into some drum stuff, I'm going to be talking drum stuff first, and then I'm going to get into more of the topical stuff on the second half of the thing. And I'm planning on going about an hour tonight. So yeah, let's see how that goes. And I'm totally curious to hear your feedback on the approach of me making this, breaking it up into like drummer stuff, and then more coming from where I'm coming from, my point of view. One of my closest friends, Jonathan McDonald, I asked him like, hey, give me some advice on how to approach this. And his advice was, he said, I think people want to hear where you're coming from personally. And like, what's it like to be on the tour bus? What's it like to be at sound check? And sort of kind of letting you guys in behind the curtain, from my point of view, or from a musician's point of view, or, the vantage point of a side guy, or I've been a side guy a bunch. And as a drummer, even though I'm a co-owner and a co-founder of Rival Sons, like I'm still the drummer, I'm still the guy in the back, the backbone of the music, if you will. And so if you go see your favorite artist, if you go, if you buy tickets to a concert and, let's say John Mayer has Aaron Sterling on drums in his recent tours. And before that, it was Keith Carlock. Before that, it was JJ Johnson and John Mayer, Steve Jordan. So John Mayer's played with all these great drummers. So, but it's still John Mayer on the marquee. So, what's it like being the side guy? Like I can really provide that perspective. I've done so many sideman gigs in my career, before founding Rival Sons and during founding Rival Sons. I was playing on the Last Call with Carson Daly on NBC in the house band. I was one of 3 or 4 drummers doing that. That was a blast. We did that for 5 years until Carson Daly went like on location. He got rid of the studio audience. So 2009, I think we were officially canned. But that was a great experience, and I could talk more about that if you guys are interested in working on that. So give me your feedback. Guiliana drop stuff would be appreciated if you have time. Yeah, dude. I think didn't I start scratching the surface of the Guiliana stuff last week? Mark Guiliana is one of the greatest drummers on planet Earth. And Matt is the drummer, 1971. His name's Matt. Hit me up and was asking me about this. He's commented on that. The drop stuff. So drop is an acronym that we'll get into. So dynamics, rate. What is the O? P is phrasing. The O is God, I'm brain farting. The O is, somebody help me in the comments. Dynamics, rate. Rate is note rate. So the rhythm, the tempo, and what rate you're playing. So that would be the notes. Orchestration. That's the O. So DROP is the acronym. Yeah, thank you. Orchestration. Okay. So I want to get, so drummer stuff is going to be first half, answering questions from my Patreon people first. And if I can have time, I'll answer some questions in the comments. And so if you want to start asking me questions, I'm really encouraging everyone to try to join me on Patreon. It's not that much money. It's like the cost of a latte these days. So, and it's just a monthly thing at Patreon. It helps me out. I'm not getting rich off this. So, I'm having a good time, and I'm pushing my boundaries and trying to build my talent stack. And who knows where this is going to lead me to, other things. So Leo says orchestration. Thank you guys. Yeah, I could definitely get into that, 'cause that's something I'm way into. I was into that before I, was learning that from Mark Guiliana, and now like Mark Guiliana is one of my favorite drummers. And so, by By the way, all the drummers in the house, I have a lesson with Chris Coleman next week. Chris Coleman is one of the best drummers on planet Earth. And I'm just pushing the boundaries, man. I'm trying to challenge myself and move all aspects of my drumming, my personhood, my health, everything. I'm trying to push to the forefront is strong and hard as I can. So Carmela Palmer says, love the idea of telling us what happens behind the scenes. So yeah. So back to my friend Jonathan McDonald was saying to make it a little more personal. And so lately, these last few, I'm just getting my feet wet, getting my cameras going. And you guys, some of you have been here. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names. You guys have been here since the beginning, where I was just flailing and had I had delay in my my audio and all this stuff. So I want to make this the most famous drummer live stream podcast in the world. So I'm going to do that, and you guys are going to help me. What do you think? Okay. So I'm going to go to my Patreon questions first. So let me so I wanted to talk to Miriam first. So in my Patreon, Miriam had a great question, and I think she's from Switzerland. And I forgot, you speak French, right? First, and then German. So her English, I'm trying to decipher. Don't take offense. I'm trying to decipher. Can we work on several themes at the same time? Now, my translation of that is like themes. Can you work on different things? Like if you're a beginning drummer, should you only work on one thing? Right? Playing a beat. Let me get to the GoPro. So let me get to the playing part. Okay. This cymbal keeps moving. Can you guys hear the drums? Okay. All right, cool. All right, hopefully you guys can hear the drums. Okay, so Miriam's question. Can you work on more than one theme? So when I practice, okay, my practice regimen can, like tomorrow I have a gig, right? So if I have 2 hours to practice, I know I'm going to spend at least, like say an hour on the things I want to address for the gig that I'm doing. And then I'm going to take an hour, the first hour I might incorporate some rudimental stuff that I'm going to be doing on the gig. So my warm up is going to include things I know I want to work on later. So, but there's some things I just do every day. Now, I keep looking at this camera when I should be looking at this camera. See, I'm still learning. You guys are all a part of it. So yeah. So I'll sit down and just play 16th notes. Real, not fast. I'm not trying to impress anybody. And then doubles. Let me so you can see my hand. So singles, doubles, paradiddles, paradiddle diddles. Sorry. All right. So, and then I might incorporate something different with my feet. So, the front camera is out of sync. Oh, interesting. Let me see if I could fix that here. Hold on. Front camera. Maybe that might be something in your delay, the delay on your end of stuff. You guys, give me some more feedback. So the front camera in Oh, yeah. Yeah, there is a delay. That's weird. I wonder why that is. Gosh darn it. So the front camera, I'm assuming the one you're talking about, I hope, is in my... why is it doing that right now? Sync. Sorry, you guys. Hold on 1 second while I deal with this. I'll edit this out later. The new breed book on the floor. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm going to turn this camera off and then turn it back on. Let's see if that works. Sorry, guys. I wish I had waiting room music. Okay, there's the GoPro FaceTime camera. Check, 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 check. Let's see if that helps. Tell me if this works, guys. Hey, 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 hi. Should be good now. Tell me if that's better. All right? Because I want to keep this flow going. I'm still on Miriam's question. And that is, can you work on more than one thing at once? Okay, so I was telling you about my warm-ups. Okay, so right there, singles, doubles, and paradiddles diddles are like, man, I mean, minus flam. So a flam is when you hit both sticks at almost the same time. So there's like a bra 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 instead of so this would be together, all the drums together. This is a new warm up I have. So I'm doing this one and 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1 and a 2 and a 3. 1 and a 2 and a 3. And I'm trying to get my these three limbs, the right, left, and the kick, all together landing, or I'll do it here. So 1, 2, 3, bomb. I might do just real nerdy stuff like that. Okay, so I got my singles, doubles, paradiddles. That's hard to say that fast. All right, so and I might push my my speed boundaries, right? I might work up to my ceiling, right? So you have a ceiling as fast as you could go, to where you're not dying, but you're not comfortable. So you want to push your boundaries every time you practice. So so when you're doing singles, you know. Right, so my left hand just crapped out right there. So, sorry for the drummers, I'm not warmed up right now, so I have to give that disclaimer. Doubles. Raise the front cam. I'm not trying to let you guys see my face. I'm trying to make more of my hands. Whoever said that. Stephanie. Oh, is that Steph the Crumpets? What's up? Your question is in my my list of things to do tonight, Steph. So yeah. Stephanie wanted me to talk. I'm just going to do a little interlude here. Stephanie wanted me to talk about stick tricks, okay? So I'm going to show you all of my stick tricks, okay? All right, you guys ready? So I have one, you go into traditional grip and you hit the stick down and the stick just, when you hit it, like when you hit the stick, Try to move the mic here. So, right. That's one. That's one. This is another. And just throwing the sticks. It's good to, there you go. There you have it. So it's good to, before I go on stage, I do a lot of stick tricks. And it's not to you know, like be a show. I mean, I'm kind of a ham when I'm on stage, but I'm not doing a lot of stick tricks on stage. I might go, you know, I might do one of those obligatory stick twirls on the when the band is breaking. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, so I'm doing tricks like that. I don't know how to do them while I'm playing. I'm not good at that. So so anyway, oops, not much room here. This is a good one. You can go like that. Oh, what time is it? Huh? Whoop, what time is it? Okay, so that's my stick trick of the day. Anyway, so back to Miriam's question. So Miriam, so for a beginner drummer, you want to start out doing, so the answer is yes, you want to do more than one theme when you practice, because you need to, for me, practicing, there's studying. Chris Coleman talks about this. There's studying and there's practicing. Studying is when you're either reading some music that you're wanting to learn. So I keep looking at this camera up here, so I got to look at you guys. Studying is when you're say you're listening to some music you want to learn. You're listening to Bonham. You're listening to one Bonham lick, and you're rewinding it, a 10-second little phrase, and you're like rewinding it over and over and over and over and over, and you're digesting it, getting in your getting it into your body, you know, getting it into your ears, into your brain, right? You're digesting it. Okay. Then you go into the practice room and you practice. So you study, you're learning something, you're reading. I'll give you an example. So, here's some reading exercises. Okay. I'm not trying to show you exactly the notes, but it's The New Breed. So get The New Breed. Great book. New Breed. Okay. All right. So, you know, so I'm looking at this system, right? And, or the melody for the system. Okay. So, right. So I'm looking at it and I go 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. So, okay, I can read this. I can get through this. This is pretty easy. All right. So when I go on my practice session, I'm gonna take this concept that I studied. Right. This is just an example, right, of how you study, how you study and apply it to practice. Okay. So with music, any instrument, you can do this with any instrument. You got to study. You got to look at what you want to do. You got to listen to what you want to do. You got to read it off a page. You got to think about it. You can meditate on it. You can sit down with a pad of paper and write out concepts. You can transcribe a lick. One of your favorite heroes is doing on guitar, bass, drums, whatever instrument you're playing. This is for everybody. This isn't just for drums. Okay. So, practice, concepts, right? Is studying and practicing. Okay. So when you practice, you sit down and you're applying what you studied into your physicality, right? So drums are very physical, but so is every instrument. I'm learning guitar right now. My son is taking guitar lessons, and so guitar is like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy learning guitar. So Bonham kick. How about Achilles' Last Stand? Oh, nice person. The one of the hardest Bonham grooves in the repertoire. Achilles' Last Stand is a killer. The other thing about Achilles' Last Stand, sorry, I'm on a tangent now. Thanks, Neville. The the Achilles Last Stand is fast and it's a long song too. So it's relentless. It has some breakdowns to where you get to like take a towel and wipe your face. So anyway, second stick I dropped during this live stream. I always tell my students dropping sticks is a good thing. That means your hands are relaxed. I want to just show you a little bit of technique. German grip, French, American. All this stuff should be super relaxed, okay? A little bit of fingers in the French grip style, okay? So you can see the above GoPro, I'm using a lot of fingers here, so, right? So, and then in the side camera, that's all finger, okay? So you have finger technique, you have French grip. French grip is your forearm is kind of the axle that you're turning, you're turning the stick, making the stick turn, right? German grip is using the wrist as the axle. So the axle is your wrist joint. So you're going up and down. American grip is kind of like French and German in the middle somewhere. Okay, so I'm teaching all this stuff to my students. And so when you're playing, you know, my hands are really relaxed. Okay, and if you see my hands, I don't have any blisters. So, and I practice for hours a day. So it's a good sign that if you don't have blisters, it means you're relaxed and you can play super, super loud with being completely relaxed. Okay. All right. So back to Miriam's question. Yes, you should be studying more than one theme, to use her words. She said theme. So a theme would be, to me, an idea or a concept, right? So playing time with a metronome, right? Sorry. Okay, this is in 4/4. Can you guys hear that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So I'm playing to the metronome right now, right? Or take the tempo down. Right? So now I'm playing time, right? I'm playing to a metronome. I'm trying to bury the click, okay? But there's multiple things going on here, right? Now I want to practice my Mahler technique while I'm just doing this. This is Billie Jean beat, right? Or Back in Black. Bump, ba-da-da, ba-da-da, di-di-di-di-do, don't, ba-da-da, da-da-da. Right, so this is obviously fast for that. Billie Jean is 120. Hold on, let's see Billie Jean. So. Right? Okay, so I'm trying to bury the click, be as solid as I can, but I'm also trying to be as relaxed I can in my wrists, right? So now I'm going to, once I have the time established, I'm going to start focusing on my technique and my posture. And I always keep a straight back and I sit high. Just a little bit of recap. My butt is higher than my knee. I don't know if you could see my butt, my leg is angled down, okay? So, and my snare is higher than my leg. So between my thigh, my leg, and my stick here, my stick is on the rim shot, okay? So I have about 2 inches, 3 inches there of clearance. A lot of drummers, they hit their leg and their snare is so low that they're hitting their inner thigh. I used to do that and I'd get bruises on the inside of my on my thigh, okay? So all right, so what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so now I'm gonna do let me slow this down so I can be I'm gonna go down to So I'm going to go to the torture tempo, which is 95 on the metronome, right? Probably 96, 97 on the recording, but we played about 95 live, 94, 95, a little bit slower. Okay, so here comes another one, right? So you know where you are. Boom, ah, boom, ah, boom, So I'm still playing to the click, right? But I'm focusing on the pattern. Okay, now I'm gonna aim my attention at my technique. So now that I have the pattern down, I'm playing in time, I'm gonna look at my technique. And so we're checking in, right? We're security guards, right? We're policing our own limbs and our brain and our bodies, our posture, our breathing. You wanna be thinking of all these things when you're playing, okay? So 4 on the floor, right? Kick is playing on 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And every once in a while, I go boom, 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 3, 4, boom, 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 boom. That's the bass melody, bass drum. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Okay, so now the technique. So I want a little bit of Mahler grip, accenting on the quarter notes, right? Is there a delay in my screen again? It's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. I think there's a delay. Yep, there's a delay. Why are you doing that, webcam? You know, I'm going to turn this webcam off because it's distracting. All right, see you later, alligator. Okay, here we go. So now we're just in the above. So sorry, guys. Sorry I had that. Mick Tamapold says Godspeed. See you, Mick. Okay, so Miriam, I hope that addresses your question. Let me connect the dots here. So just to rehash this, Miriam asked from my Patreon, can you practice, as a beginner, can you practice more than one thing at once? Turn off the metronome. I'm so used to having a metronome on that I forget that it's probably annoying to everybody that's listening. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, you always want to be practicing, in my opinion, more than one theme, okay? Because it's like you have a garden. You know, you plant, of course, in a garden, you want to like till, then let the soil chill, you know, then you plant your seeds, you know, and then you water it, then you wait, then it grows, you know, there is these things happening one by one. But if you have a big garden, you're doing multiple things at once. Okay. Any kind of preparation, if you're in a sport, if you're trying to be a superb athlete, you will be doing calisthenics, stretching, cardio, weightlifting, weight training, resistance training. And then you're focusing on your sport. You're learning the plays. You are, I'm just going through all these things. You're learning technique. Baseball, you're taking batting practice. You're throwing. Baseball players are studying the other team. So they play 6 games a week, and they're playing at least 2 teams a week. So you're studying, you know, on Thursday, you're going to see the best pitcher in the major leagues, and he's got a curveball from hell. So you're working on hitting curveballs for, you know, you're taking like 30 minutes to an hour out of your day just doing curveballs, you know? So you have multiple things going on all the time. That's how life is. Okay. So with drumming, I'm not a fan of just doing one thing. So if you're a beginner, if you're a beginner and your first beat is done, you know, the Billie Jean beat, I call it the money beat or the Billie Jean beat, right? So I can talk and play this groove because I've done it for so long, right? So you're learning this beat, right? So now, so I'm gonna speed it up to dun 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 dun, like, okay, so we're up at the Billie Jean tempo, but this beat is also good for like, it's like, right? I'm playing a ballad now. Same beat, same exact beat. That's what's awesome about drumming. Okay, so or right, so one beat is just one facet, right? Okay, so this kind of relates to the DROP. So you have dynamics, you have rate, how fast you're playing at the note rate. So I can get into that more later. And then you have orchestration, where you're performing the rhythms. Okay, I'll go back to the GoPro. And then phrasing, how you're going to phrase it. So right, I can take this Billie Jean beat, boom, I can phrase it on the and of the beat, right? So phrasing, I'm going to phrase it in a different spot. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, if you do that with your band, you'll probably get fired, okay? But it's good. It's good to do these things to be able to move the beat wherever you want. And you hear drummers do that sometimes, and just for a brief period of time, like right? That's just moving the beat over an eighth note for a second, okay? So phrasing is a big part of it. Orchestration, I went from hi-hat to the ride cymbal. So orchestrating, or I can play the same thing on the tom. Boom, boom, right? Same beat, just orchestrating it different. Now the breakdown's coming in the bridge, right? So now I'm going to take the same beat and I'm going to go, I'm going to phrase it different, right? I'm going to orchestrate it different. Same beat, and now I'm playing the backbeat on the tom. Or right? So same beat can be, so the beat can be orchestrated differently for different parts of the song. Dynamics. Now I can play this in the breakdown. I'm just playing with my fingers now because I'm playing quiet, you know? Dynamics. Dynamics is how quiet or loud you're playing. So, you know. Okay, so we have dynamics, and the rate is in a 16th note, or a quarter note, you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and triplets, and then 16th, and then you have, you could go to quintuplets, but I'm just going to go to sextuplets. You can go to 30-second notes. Right? I'm going to slow down a little bit to do 30-second notes. Right? So that would be a 30-second note, which is like quadruple time. Yeah, Motown cats are great with phrasing. Phrasing is something, you know, a lot of jazz drummers, phrasing is everything with jazz drumming. Okay, so Miriam, that was a big way to answer your question. I just wanted to give you an example of how when you practice anything. So if you're watching this and you're not a drummer and you are, say you're into CrossFit, okay? So in CrossFit, you got to get good at Olympic weightlifting. You got to get good at stretching, calisthenics. You got to get good at gymnastics. You got to get good at running, jumping, you know. Do we do bikes? Yeah, we do like the air bikes there. Okay, so jiu-jitsu, there's multiple things you got to do in jiu-jitsu, okay? They're like every kind of thing that is a physical activity has some kind of warm-up and calisthenics, stretching, and all that stuff. So trying to think of any other like modality that you would need to fishing. You know, you got to understand the bait. You got to understand the kind of water you're in, what kind of boat you're going to use. Are you deep sea fishing? Are you in a pond? Or are you fly fishing in a river? Okay. Surfing is big waves, small waves, longboard, shortboard. There's calisthenics, there's warming up, there's, you know, being strong, understanding wave. Are you a lefty or righty? There's, okay. So, anytime you're approaching anything that you want to get good at, you have to have multiple themes going on, to use Miriam's language, multiple themes, multiple ideas, multiple concepts going, because you're fertilizing your soil with nutrients, with water, with sunlight. You know, there's multiple things going into making a plant grow. Okay. So I hope I was clear on that one. I'm going to go on to, I answered Stephanie's question about stick twirling. So Wim Martins had a question on the bridge section of Electric Man. Okay. So I'm going to go to this cam. So, okay. So the bridge section of Electric Man, there's a breakdown before the solo. Okay. And copyright, I haven't figured out how to play my own music on YouTube without getting, flagged or canceled or whatever you call it. Okay. So everyone knows Electric Man. Okay. Right. So the breakdown after the second chorus, right? So, I'm electric. I'm your electric man. All right, so it's basically that's a Latin beat. Okay, so I'm gonna play. The Latin phrasing is ding ding. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ding 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 ding. I'm gonna make it so you can see the bell a little bit. Yeah, I think you can see the bell, right? One, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Okay. And then I'm gonna add the bass drum pattern of Electric Man, which starting on what would be beat 3 of the song. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. But this particular section, we turn the phrase around. Okay, so talk about phrasing again. We start that, so that beat 3 is now 1. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 2, boom, chak, gong, gong. Basically, the when the levee breaks bass drum pattern. So, right, a little faster though. Okay, so and then I put this this cascara pattern on the bell. Ding 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 ding. Okay, so and then you put it all together, and it's and that's the fill going into the guitar solo. So a left hand lead on that. So 1, 2, 3. Right. So that's Wim Martin had a question on the bridge of Electric Man. So should I slow that down? Let me slow that down. Okay, so bim 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 bim. Okay, so there it is, slow, for all those people who like to do it slow. Tricky. Thanks for the breakdown, Mike. trying to play this now as Mike explains it. Yeah, just work on it, man. It's you know what? In the studio, Dave Cobb actually, I think I was just trying to put a Latin beat in there, and then Dave Cobb was like, put the groove in under it, right? And I think I was trying to get fancy by putting a Latin groove in there because I love Latin. Anybody fan of the Doors knows John Densmore was he was a big fan of Latin music. I'm a huge fan of Latin music, Afro-Cuban music, Mozambique, samba, ranchero. I like Mexican music. I like Brazilian music, South American music. I like Cuban music, Puerto Rican. Like all the Latin music has so much. There's so much nuances in each region that where the musicians play things different. The 16th notes have a different flavor in Brazil. Like in samba, you have a 16th note that's 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, right? The Brazilians play the 16th note like I don't know if you can hear that. Can you guys hear that? So GoPro. It's just a looser vibe on the 16th note. When you hear samba, here I'll play a samba. I'll try to play it fast. It's just show you like so a samba, and I'm gonna play snare drum 16th notes. A samba 16th notes. Okay, so. Right? So I'll play it without the kick in the hat. Okay, so. Right? So there's some 16th notes. Now I'm going to play regular 16th notes and see if you can hear the difference. So I'm going to try to play straight 16th notes with the accents and not swing it like the Brazilians. So it's hard to do. Once you start playing samba, it's hard to go back. But let me start slow and speed it up, and I think I can do it. So that's a straight 16th note, right? Let me swing it. I'll show you. Straight. It's real square when it's straight. There's no flavor. There's no vibe. Now I'm swinging it. So when you hear samba music, you hear that swing. So that's why I love Latin music. So back to Electric Man. So Dave Cobb was suggesting I play just a basic beat of the song underneath that. So it came out to... So you have, in Latin music, you have... That's the clave. 1. 1. Right, so it's a straight up rip off of Latin. I culturally appropriated the cascara pattern from the Cubans, and I put it into Electric Man. That could get you canceled these days, so I better be careful. All right, so putting it with the groove. Right, okay. So that's that whim. So those are the 3 questions I wanted to address. So now for the commercial break. Okay, so now I'm going to switch topics. I'm going to go into some of the personal aspects of the music business and my approach to it, and hopefully you guys are interested in that. And again, like I said at the beginning of this live stream, I want your feedback, and hope this is all cool. I went a little bit longer than I wanted to on the drum stuff, but Miley gets canceled, dies of COVID. Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually like, I'm getting over a cold right now, and it's a persistent cold, but I don't have the COVID, so that's good. Okay, so Alex Campbell asked me a question, and he said, "What was the best advice you ever got about the music industry?" And he asked me a bunch of questions, and I'm probably going to address a bunch of his questions over the next few live streams. So Alex, this is for you, and this is for everybody else. So, and this is gonna plant seeds for a bunch of other topics to discuss. So, and I'm just off the seat of my pants right now, but I know I can talk about this for hours. So bear with me. I'm gonna just try to spend 10 or 20 minutes for the rest of this stream. Okay, so the best advice I ever got music business. I had to think about it, because as young up and coming drummer, I asked tons of questions. I've always been, my nickname in university, Cal State Long Beach University. Any of you guys who were there with me know, Dr. Carney called me Question Man. So I asked a lot of questions, always raising my hand, always. Like, if you had math class with me, if you had whatever it was in school, I always ask questions. So, Todd Kohler says, I'm a history teacher. I play music every day in class during passing period for the last 5 years. Every Friday is RS Friday. Nice, dude. Nice. So as a teacher, hopefully you can, give me some feedback on how I'm teaching. I love teaching drums. So, again, I went way deep in Miriam's question, probably way deeper than I should have for the live stream purposes. But sometimes when I get going, I can't stop, because it's such an interesting question. How many themes should you practice, as a beginner, intermediate, advanced, anything? Baseball player, swimmer, right? Surfer, jiu-jitsu practitioner, drummer, guitar player, bass player, singer, all these things. I could teach all these. I could teach all those things. Even though I can't play bass, I could teach bass, because I know conceptually how to approach something and how to get good at it in the most efficient way possible. So economics, not like money economics, but the economy of learning, the economy of how you stack your talents and how you weigh it's like cost benefit analysis with your own craft, right? So you want to get good at your craft, you have to do a cost benefit analysis. You have to know what you're good at, what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, and how to approach. And then you have to be your own manager. You have to customize your own plan of action. You have to have a plan. You have to be your own police department, your security force. You have to be the security. You have to be like, no, left hand, you're not doing it right. You have to be able to make the connection that you are not doing stuff. I highly recommend musicians practice with a mirror. Always have a mirror with you. So, I don't know if you could see, you can't, wrong camera. My webcam isn't working anymore. I have a mirror over there. So, and then when I practice, I bring it over here. So yeah, tangent. So back to the music business thing. Obviously I could talk about teaching all day. I love teaching. I love sharing what I've learned. I've studied with so many teachers. Next week I have a lesson with Chris Coleman. I'll talk to you guys about that. He's a ninja. He's Yoda. Look him up on YouTube after this live stream. Type in Chris Coleman and Beck. He was Beck's drummer on the last Beck tour. Insane. Best drummer on planet Earth. Maybe best drummer on planet Earth. And I have a lesson with him next week. I'm so fired up for that. So constantly pushing my boundaries, and you should too. Okay, so best advice I got from the music business. Sorry, you had to wait for the answer to this question. I'm in the show notes. I'm going to put the time that I start talking about this. Okay, so I studied with Bruce Hornsby's drummer back in the day, John Molo. John Molo played with Bruce Hornsby for 20 plus years. Then he was Phil Lesh's drummer with Phil Lesh and Friends. He's the bass player for the Grateful Dead. And I saw him open for Bob Dylan. And John Molo's great friend, and he was my teacher for on and off for 3 years. And so when my Patreon guy, Alex Campbell, shout out to him, he asked me, what's the best music business advice you've gotten? And I've asked so many questions over the years, and I had to think of the advice John Molo gave me. As a drummer, I asked him, drummer to drummer, what's the best advice you can give me? What would be your first, recommendation? And he said, and I quote, and I paraphrase, get to know and make friends with producers and singers. And so obviously we spent hours talking about this, but I'll break it down in my own way. Get to know producers and singers. So as a drummer, as any kind of sideman, okay, so this advice, I guess, wouldn't, so if you're a singer, get to know producers and get to know musicians. I guess it would be like the other way. So, because as a singer, you're going to be hiring people. So you need to know how to approach hiring people who do this for a living. If you want a good drummer, you're going to have to pay for it. Right. Okay. So, if you want a good bass player, backup singers, keyboards, horn players, all these side musicians, do it for a living. So if you want high quality, top notch people, you got to make friends with them. And if they like your music, they'll give you deals, they'll cut their rate and stuff, knowing that maybe there's a future with you. Okay. So now let's flip it back to the side musician, the backing band. So the drummer, get to know singers and producers. Okay. So who's hiring you on the gig? Singers and producers, right? Producers in the studio and singers are, fronting the band. Without a singer, you don't have a gig, okay? Unless you're in an instrumental band, you play jazz or whatever. Okay, so in pop and rock and country and R&B, you're going to have a front man, a front woman leading the band, okay? You like Rival Sons is nothing without Jay Buchanan. Rival Sons is the greatest band I've ever been in my life. Best musicians I've ever played with. But without Jay, Rival Sons is just we could make instrumental music for TV commercials or something. And it would probably be pretty good and lucrative. Hey, that's a good idea. Another talent to add to my talent stack. Okay. So, let's check it out. Questions. Yeah. And good singers are hard to find. Okay. So having said all that, to put this into perspective. Okay. So right around that time, I met Jay Buchanan. Okay. So I'm going to tell you guys how I met Jay Buchanan. I went down to the Blue Cafe in Long Beach, and it was a Monday night, I believe. There was it was an open mic, but it was a kind of a quiet night at the Blue Cafe. It wasn't like big, like 3 bands on the bill, blues bands, international, national blues bands coming in out of town, local ones who had regular gigs. The Blue Cafe had a real quiet Monday night, and it was usually a singer-songwriter with a guitar and a microphone. And so I was living at this place called The Space in Long Beach, and so I went down to the Blue Cafe. I think Greg Coates, which is the Bird's bass player, Bird 3. By the way, Bird 3, my old band, has an album coming out. I'll talk more about that later. So Greg Coates, and Chris Hanlon, and Scott DeVowers. So Scott DeVowers was filled in for Zach Starkey with The Who, and he's Roger Daltrey's drummer when he tours. He's a really, really good friend of mine. And Greg's old bass player of mine. Chris Hanlon's one of the greatest singer frontmen I've ever heard. He's got a band called the Dibs and Bourbon Jones. You should check out all these bands from Long Beach. Long Beach had just a litany of great musicians and artists from which I come. The Long Beach music scene is where I come from. So yeah, we went down there and they were like, dude, you got to hear this guy sing. And I'm not a big, if you know me, you know, I'm not a big singer-songwriter fan. I've played with a million of them. But like, and yeah, I love James Taylor. I love Van Morrison. I love Neil Young. You know, all the great singer-songwriters. I'm not a Dylan fan, so don't burn me at the stake or cancel me. But I really respect Dylan's lyrics, but I just, you either love him or hate him. So yeah, so I went down reluctantly and I'm like, yeah, I'll go have a beer, and hang out with my friends. I was more into hanging out with my friends, and walked in and sat down. Jay started singing, and like from note one, I was like jaw on the floor. Who is this guy? And just met, like many of you, maybe the first time you heard Rival Sons or Jay's solo stuff, mesmerizing singer, like frontman from heaven. I was going to say frontman from hell. He's frontman from heaven, man. He's like dropped from the angels, man, right in our laps. And so that's how, so I saw him, and he played 45 minutes, hour. I don't know how long he played. Second he was done, man, I had a business card and John Molo's advice, make friends with singers and producers, and, you know, or introduce yourself to them and let them know you're available for work, for hire, for whatever. And I had business cards made. So it said Michael Miley Drums and Percussion, and I had my old 714 number from Orange County, and had a little picture of a drum set on it. And I walk up to Jay and I was like, hey man, my name's Mike Miley. And I love your voice. I love your songs, and I'll play drums with you any night of the week. And that's how I introduced myself to him. I love your voice. I love your songs. I'll play drums with you any night of the week. And I gave him my card. Totally dorky. But you know what? As dorky as that was, look where it led. So now I'm backing one of the greatest frontmen on planet Earth. Okay. So, it's like, you know, sometimes making an introduction, breaking the ice, it doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, first impressions are important, but I mean, that wasn't me, like, you know, spilling a beer into his guitar case, you know, after he puts his guitar in, and then I walk up all nervous and spill a beer all over his electric guitar and ruin it. That would be a bad first impression. Okay. So, set your beer down, when you go and make these introductions. You don't want to, you know, I wouldn't recommend, you know, being all like drunk and stuff when you make these introductions. But I mean, sometimes, you know, you might be in a place like we were at a pub and having a few beers. And so I probably had 3 or 4 beers by the time I said hi to him. So it wasn't like I was like, you know, pristine sober guy, but, you know, just make a good impression. Don't be an idiot. But sometimes, you know, as dorky as it sounds, what I said to Jay, hey, I love your voice. I love your songs. Not a lie. I was completely blown away by him. So okay. So back to the music business advice, for musicians. Yeah, man, you want to, introduce yourself to singers and producers, make friends with them, you know, find out when they're playing again. You know, and with the Long Beach music scene, it was a very tight-knit group of friends, and we kind of all saw each other regularly. We all went to go see each other's bands all the time. So all the musicians were always hanging at the Blue Cafe. It was a big hang. And I'm very fortunate to have that scene that I came up in Long Beach. I know Nashville has like a scene like that, and you know, places like New York and London, the big cities have like scenes, and they have micro scenes, you know, and you can become a part of these scenes. If you're a jazz musician, there's places you go, and there's jam session nights, Wednesday nights, where you can sit in, and you make these introductions to people. And so that would be the best advice I got, about the music industry. And I can go, I'll probably do maybe one Thursday a month and talk about a topic about the music industry. So keep checking it back into my live streams, and I will try to start putting topics and stuff in the show notes. And yeah, so let me think if I can expound upon anything about that. I'm going to read some of your questions though. Requiem Platter says the 562. Yeah, baby. Living for these stories. You're killing it, man. These are great insights. So yeah, Alex Campbell, he's in the comments here. He's a recent addition to my Patreon, and a little story about Alex. He hit me up with about 37 questions. So, which I 100% love and appreciate. I want my Patreons to interact with me and tell me what's on your mind. You're paying me, $5 a month, whatever tier you're in. I have a tip jar for $1. There's a $5 tier. I have like in the hundreds tiers. So if you wanted to take lessons and have meet and greets whenever we start touring again, I have some silver and gold tiers in my Patreon. So it's good, just good to know. And until I can do meet and greets, until the tours happen, I can, if you wanted to become a silver or gold member, I can work something out to where we can have Skype calls or something. I don't know. I'm malleable, but go to my Patreon, and that's where we connect. That's where I get the questions, and that's where I love interacting with you guys and guys and gals. And let me see if I got any questions. Do you guys got any questions before I wrap her up here? I have a vision of Miley dancing with a beer when they heard about the Grammy nominations. Actually, Nola Creek says, when we found out about the Grammys, we were in Denmark, and it was about 2 in the afternoon, 3 p.m. And we were on a long bus ride. And so everybody kind of rolled up into the front lounge as we approached Aarhus, Denmark. And as we approached the Grammy, they announced the nominations it was 6 p.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. LA time. Yeah, because that would have been 3 p.m. in Denmark. And yeah, so it was during the day. I had not just woken up, but I was still drinking coffee, and so I wasn't drinking a beer. So there you go. Long Beach music scene is First Street by The Vault. Back in the day, it was Cascara had a lot of gigs on 7th and Cherry, and the Blue Cafe and the Prospector had singer-songwriters, and I played with Bourbon Jones every Sunday at the Blue Cafe. That was an experience. Man, I could do a whole podcast on my experience with Bourbon Jones. Those guys, I did my first tour, as a drummer with, because I'd been on tours and bands and like orchestra and steel drum orchestra and like stuff in college. You travel when you're in college bands, all the band geek stuff. I did all the band geek stuff in high school, college. So yeah, I don't see any questions popping up here anymore. So you guys, thank you very much for joining my live stream. Thursday nights, I'm always here. Be here or be square. And how do you control the pressure just before a concert? I don't. You have maybe a jar full of bugs or something, you have a jar full of hornets, right? And you unscrew it. So I'm not controlling it. I'm just opening up the jar. So I don't control it. I don't feel pressure really. It's like with Rival Sons, I'm more psyching myself out and trying to get physically I want to be 150% physical, if that makes sense. So I'm jumping up and down. I'm doing push-ups. I'm doing jumping jacks. Ask the guys in Rival Sons. Like, I'm doing crazy stuff. I'm doing air squats, I'm doing jump squats, anything to pump my blood and get my blood going. And my whole warm up, I've talked about this a bunch. I could maybe dedicate a podcast to it, live stream to my warm up, my whole warm up routine. So yeah, so I actually release the pressure. I'm unloading. I'm like getting ready to blast a nuclear blast on everybody when I walk on stage. So there is a sense of harnessing your chi, you know, like, to use the Chinese term chi, right? So you're harnessing your chi. Like, I do a lot of breathing techniques and a lot of Wim Hof breathing and the ice baths, the cold showers, and the Wim Hof stuff. But when I'm standing side stage, man, I'm jumping jacks, air squats. I'm yelling at the top of my lungs. I don't know. I'm pounding my chest like a silverback gorilla. So that's what I'm doing right before I go on stage. Okay. So, okay. I'll talk to you guys later. Go to my Patreon, patreon.com/MileyOnDrumz. Become a member there. My Venmo, my PayPal's below. If I answer any of your questions on any of these live streams, you can tip me there. Just click on the links down below. I think you can get a personal cameo. I do cameos. I'll sing happy birthday. I've done a ton of cameos where I play a little bit of drums and I sing happy birthday while I'm doing it, and I just make a fool of myself, and or say like happy anniversary to your parents, or, you know, whatever. Cameo is really cool. Check out cameo.com/MileyOnDrumz. Subscribe to my Instagram, MileyOnDrumz. I'm MileyOnDrumz everywhere. And yeah, so there we have it. I'm going to wrap this baby up. Hour 15 minutes. Okay, cool. I love you guys, and I'm going to sign off.